Welcome to our channel where OP confuses a CEO with a guest at a wedding and gets kicked out. Our next Reddit post is from No Return. My aunt's fiancé was getting married in Vegas. They had hired someone who did not know anyone at the wedding. She would later be revealed to be the owner of the company that organized the event. So this woman was going undercover to see what her company was doing. On the day of the wedding, my cousin, who was best man, spotted her and asked if she wanted to help set up. She said yes, and ended up helping for hours. The wedding was outdoors, and there were several food stations. One was a build-your-own taco station with 2 employees. These 2 people were busy chatting with each other and ignoring their duties. So my cousin asks the woman who helped them set up to watch the taco station, while he goes to get some drinks. She agrees and they leave. After about 20 minutes, my cousin comes back and sees the taco station completely dismantled with all of the food thrown away. He asks the woman what happened and she says that she let the servers take a break because they were hungry. My cousin starts yelling at her, telling her that they were hired to work and that the guests were getting hungry. She tells him that it's not his place to question her staff and that she will have them fired. Then she walks off. My cousin then looks around and realizes that all of the decorations are gone. Some family members had actually started dismantling things before the party even started. He confronts the woman again, but she just keeps telling him that he needs to calm down. Eventually, my aunt and her fiancé find out what happened. They confront the woman and she admits that she is the CEO of the company. She says that she has been doing this at different events in order to keep tabs on her employees and find out what is going on. But my aunt and her fiancé were understandably furious. They demand that she have everything set up again, but she says that it's too late and that they need to just let it go. Aunt tells her that she's not in charge here and she needs to listen. The CEO laughs and says that she owns the company that arranged the entire event, and that she will make sure that they pay for nothing. Of course, they end up paying for everything and the reception ends up being fine. But ever since then, my aunt and her fiancé cannot look at tacos the same way. Down in the comments, we have this story from Jaded Pottery. This happened to a friend of mine. She runs a small bed and breakfast near Williamsburg, Virginia. One day she got an email from someone wanting to book a 2-night stay. It was obviously a corporate type guy asking for a king suite and wanting to know if they had any specials. My friend checked, and they had a couple of free nights coming up, so she sent over a promo code for a nice discount. The guy emailed back, thanking her for the discount. A few days later, they received a large family group, like 10 or more people all checking in together. They were led by a gruff older gentleman who kept asking my friend where the manager was. The first night went without a hitch, but the second night the big group decided to hold their little event in the courtyard. My friend politely asked the old man to turn it down or stop, but he just kept yelling at her about how much he was paying, and that he should be able to do whatever he wants. She finally just went and stood next to the speaker until it was turned down. The next morning, my friend met with the old man again, this time with the police. She got the money and kicked them all out. Turns out that the old man was the head honcho of a huge tech firm. I guess he thought that his status would allow him to treat everyone beneath him like garbage. Yeah, that's why you don't book under a fake name. You want to be special, you gotta pay extra for the special. This next story is from another happy ending. I work at a local pizza shop as a cook. We're pretty well known in town, especially for our beer and cheese slice. We get tons of orders during football season. Well, one Saturday afternoon, we were slammed, and I was running around like a mad lad making pizzas. At one point, I turned around and saw this lady standing there waiting for me. She looked important, if you know what I mean. She was wearing one of those name badge holders with the lanyard around her neck. And on the name badge, it said something along the lines of CEO of blah 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 company. I didn't think anything of it. I just made her a pizza and handed it to her. She paid and left. About 30 minutes later, I saw her come through the door again, but she was with a couple of men who also looked important. I shrugged it off again and just finished up another pizza. About 30 minutes after that, she came through the door yet again, this time with her whole entourage. I couldn't imagine that someone who's important enough to have their own company would be ordering so much pizza. I go to grab the pizza, and I see that she's looking right at me and she's smiling. She then introduced herself and her friends and explained that they were all in town for a conference, and they decided to try our pizza after hearing about it. She explained that she had ordered 3 pizzas, one for her, one for her friends, and one for her husband, who was waiting outside. I apologized for not remembering her the first time, but she assured me that it was no big deal. She then took out a business card and handed it to me. On it was written Employee of the Month Award. She said that she wanted to personally give it to me. I couldn't believe it. I'd never won an award before, let alone one that was being given to me by the CEO of a company. As I watched them leave, I couldn't help but smile. Maybe not every rich person is as bad as they seem. A few years ago, I was employed as a server at a restaurant. One of the guys was trying to flag down our attention, and he kept doing this weird hand motion. I'd never seen it before. He said, "Hey, Speedy, come over here and show us how fast you can stack cups." He said, "Yeah, you do, Speedy. Just stack the cups really fast." Now, the thing is, I am slow when it comes to stacking cups. I was taught the proper way to stack cups, but I always get distracted and end up fumbling them and sometimes breaking them. So I usually stack them sideways. I tell them, "Okay, you win. Let me show you." I proceed to attempt to stack the cups. After the 3rd cup, I accidentally knock them over. They all laugh and encourage me to keep going. I knocked over the 4th cup, and the 5th guy jumps in and says, "That's enough, Speedy. Come back when you've mastered the skill." He pays the bill, and they leave. I feel bad, because they had to wait a few minutes for someone else to clear the table and start taking their order. An hour later, I hear the familiar, obnoxious voices and I see them enter the restaurant. They're all wearing these goofy hats that say Stack Attack on them. The same guy calls me over and hands me a gift bag. Inside is a t-shirt that says Stack Attack on it. I say thank you. He says no, thank you for the entertainment. They all sit down and order. Throughout the evening, they keep ordering pitchers of beer. I get to talking with them and I learn that they're all executives at a software company. One of them is the VP of sales and another is the director of marketing. They're all in town for their annual sales conference. They told me that they had heard me arguing with this guy earlier, and they thought it was hilarious. They then told me that their boss, the CEO, was in town and would be joining them for dinner. I thought, oh great. So then their boss shows up and I get to meet the CEO. He seems very nice. He apologizes for how his employees behaved. He said that they get carried away sometimes. He thanked me for being a good sport and invited me to join them for dinner. I accepted and I sat next to the CEO. We talked about computers, programming, and a bunch of nerdy stuff. I learned that the company makes custom software solutions for other businesses. Their customers include NASA and the US Army. I told him about the computer program I'm writing in my spare time, and he encouraged me to pursue it. After dinner, they all wanted to go to a bar that was popular with the younger crowd. I had to clock out, so I couldn't go. They asked if I wanted a ride, and they dropped me off at my apartment complex. As we were saying our goodbyes, the CEO hands me his business card and he says, "Give me a call sometime. We should get together and talk more about that program you're writing." I was stunned. Here I was thinking that I just got made fun of in front of my boss, and the next thing I know he wants to buy me a drink and hang out with me. To this day, I still wonder what would have happened if I had called him.